Hello everyone, welcome to my kitchen. I'm Velmore, and I'm back after taking a week off, and I am excited to bring you recipes from some new cookbooks, starting with the Elder Scrolls Cookbook. And this cookbook has about 80 recipes that it pulls together from across all the Elder Scrolls games. And I decided one of the first dishes I should bring to life focuses on one of my new favorite ingredients that I picked up from the Heroes Feast Cookbook, and that's going to be leeks. This is Leek Cheese Crostata. Let's get started. There is a section of this cookbook dedicated to spice and season blends that I'm going to come back to from time to time in different recipes. Today I'm going to be making two such recipes from that section for my crostata. The first is Stormcloak Seasoning, and I'm going to start that with grains of paradise, dried dill, fennel seeds, and mustard powder. And now I am going to grind those up. And that should be enough for at least a couple of dishes that require the Stormcloak seasoning. The second recipe from the section just called Basics is going to be Rye Pie Dough. And that's going to start with some all-purpose flour, rye flour, some of the Stormcloak seasoning I just made, and salt. And I'm just going to give that a quick mix together. Now I'm going to add in some cold butter, and I'm going to crush it into the flour until it comes up with a consistency almost like breadcrumbs. And now I'm going to add in some ice water. And just enough until everything starts to come together. Add a little more if it's not quite enough. And then I'm just going to form it into a disc. And wrap that up. I'm going to refrigerate it for at least 30 minutes. But I'll probably be back in about an hour or two. The prep for this is going to be to thinly slice the white and light green parts of a couple of leeks. Now I'm going to roll out my dough until it's about 1/8 of an inch thick. Now, ideally, you're going to want to keep this in a more circular shape, but I think the odd shape is going to make this crostata a little more rustic. At least that's what I'm going to tell myself. And now I am going to cook up the leeks. And I am going to soften these up and just let them start to turn brown. Now that those have browned up, I am going to add in some flour, give that a quick stir into everything, and now I am going to slowly add in some heavy cream, a little bit at a time, thickening as I go. And now I am going to add in some gruyere. In Skyrim, this recipe would call for Idar cheese, so I'm guessing that's a bit like Swiss cheese. And I'm going to mix that in. Now some salt and some pepper. And I'm going to combine everything together. And then I am just going to let that cool for about 10 minutes. And then I will add it to my pie crust. And now that this is cooled, I am going to put it onto my pie dough. And I'm going to spread it out. This is where it would be easier if it were a nice circle, because you don't want to get too close to the edge, but I'm oblong shaped, so... And now I'm going to fold the dough over. And then I'm going to finish it off with a little bit of parmesan. It's not the prettiest thing, But the filling is delicious, and it smells wonderful. And now I'm going to put it in the oven for about 25 minutes. Now, for those of you out there, like my mother, who doesn't know what the Elder Scrolls is, hi Mom. It is a video game series that has been going since the mid-90s, with 5 main entries, each one taking you to a different continent of the planet. Now, I'm going to be forward with you right now. I've never played any of them. They've always seemed to come out at times when I didn't feel like putting the massive time sink into them. And I know Skyrim is now out on about 12 different systems, but it's just one of those things I've never gone into. And this recipe says it is very common in Skyrim. And they say that leeks are some of the most popular vegetables in the land because it's such a harsh environment. Most crops don't grow well. So I would call this recipe a success, even though the pie crust did get a little sloppy. But it continues what now I could only call as a tradition on this channel, of me screwing up some part of the pastry or bread of the recipe, but still overall enjoying the recipe because everything else was just delicious. The sharp cheese mixes with the almost caramelized leeks so wonderfully for a rich, just delicious filling. And the rye crust was delicious because I didn't screw up the measurements or the flavor, just the way it looked. It was crispy, and the fennel from the Stormcloak Seasoning carried through very well without overpowering any of the other ingredients. And that's my first recipe from the Elder Scrolls Cookbook. I hope you enjoyed. You can follow me on Instagram or Twitter at chef_Velmore. The links will be in the description below. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and coming back next week for another recipe.